What is up, guys? It is Wyatt, and before we jump into today's video, I just want to give a big thank you to everyone that watched the last video I uploaded. That one is currently at 57,000 views, which is really good for my channel, and I'm just really thankful for everybody watching it. I've also gained 3,000 subscribers since that previous video, so a huge thank you there as well for all of the new supporters, and I hope I don't let you guys down. I really think that this diesel project is going to be great content, and I hope you guys enjoy it. From the sounds of it down in the comments of the last video, it sounds like you're gonna. So with that being said, let's roll the intro and jump into today's video.
Y'all want some fucking cheeseburgers?
So as the title implies, today we're going to be disassembling a 2003 GMC Duramax, pretty much start to finish. We're not going to be removing the engine or transmission from the chassis, but everything else is pretty much going to be removed so that we can start on a big project coming to the channel. But before we get into dismantling this truck, I just want to give you guys a little background story to this thing, as it is pretty cool. This truck I had purchased back in I want to say 2012 era there. It was the first truck I ever got. It was actually my first vehicle when I turned 16. Me and my dad went halves on this thing. Wow, I think I just gave away my age. Shit. Anyways, me and my dad went halves on this thing. We bought the truck for $4,500, and it had a couple issues when I bought it, and I didn't really have a lot of money to pay a mechanic to work on it, and that's actually what really got me started into the diesel performance and diesel repair game, especially working on the Duramaxes, is buying this truck and trying to fix it up myself, because I didn't have money to pay somebody to do it, and I wanted to go fast as hell, and my parents sure the hell weren't going to sponsor me. So kind of relied on myself and just started reading up on them, working on them, and kind of turned me into what I am today. I wouldn't call myself a guru with these things, but I know them pretty well. So anyways, a little backstory there. This truck's been through quite a few phases in its life. I'll actually put on the screen now the day that I bought the truck. This was back when it was completely stock. Got it from a guy, used it as a work truck forever, and it was actually in really good shape. I think I bought it with about 300,000 miles on it, and it's currently at 404,000 miles. So it'll give you kind of a timeline of how quick everything has changed on this truck. So this picture here is a couple months after I got the truck. I jacked the thing up, put some different wheels on it, some fatter tires, put the CB antennas on there. You know, everybody thinks they're cool when they got the whips on the truck. Had a toolbox in the bed. Man, I was a redneck, but really just a city slicker, really, just like all these high school kids think they are. So anyways, that was one phase of the truck. On the screen now is a photo of the truck back when I thought I was Stance Nation and stacks were cool as hell. Here is when I decided that the low life was the life for me. And here's a picture of the truck when I thought stock life was the life to be, because nobody expected a stock ass truck to gap them. So there you have a little bit of the past of this truck. And you know, this thing was really cool back when it was really low. There wasn't a whole lot of people slamming Duramaxes back when I had this thing slammed. You know, it kind of made its rounds around the local parts where I live. It wasn't famous or anything, but you know, I'd see posts here and there. Oh, that truck's 1,000 horsepower. Oh, that thing's so low, all this stuff. And you know, looking back, that's kind of funny to see about this thing, because really this thing was just a shit box the entire time I owned it. And that's why it's become the perfect candidate for the drag truck we're going to be building with the chassis of this truck. A little bit more of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge for what's coming. But anyways, enough of me rambling. I'm going to turn the camera around, kind of show you guys around the truck real quick, just to give you a reminder if you haven't seen the previous videos on it. And then we're going to jump right into taking this thing apart. So right off the bat, you'll notice that this thing is just like the old race car was, 50 shades of gray. There's not many panels on this thing that actually match the same color, especially where it's faded, rusted, or has bullet holes through it. So yeah, that's kind of why all this is going away. Up front, we got a brand new grille though. This is from the last time I wrecked it. Had to replace that guy. I've got a bumper on here that's been straightened probably 15 different times from just dumb stuff happening to it. Plasti dipped a couple times. You know, nothing fancy, pretty much the normal for any high school kid driving this truck around. Up front here, we got a plasti dipped hood because it matched the fenders with no clear coat on it, and it was just nasty as hell. So one day I just got the bright idea, well, hell, I'll just plasti dip the thing. It'd be better than nothing. And turns out that was a horrible idea. It had freaking zebra stripes across it pretty much the entire time I owned the truck. This fender over here has missing clear coat as well. That has been there since day one, so it's just gotten worse over the years. Moving down the side of the truck, one of the very first things I did to this thing was rip all the chrome off it, all the side trim off it, and man, I wanted this thing murdered out. So that's where the blacked out hood came from, blacked out bumpers, got rid of the chrome, and lo and behold, first thing I did was scratch the hell out of the paint. This is 2 weeks in when I removed all this side trim stuff. And then I thought I'd be awesome and really smart idea to use a rag with some lacquer thinner on it to get all the goo off on an oscillating sander. And what happened is the rag went flying one way, sander starts digging into the side of the wall here. So these scratches have been there since day one also. Like I said, this was my own personal truck, kind of turned into a test bed for whatever the hell I wanted to do. And you know, that was just one of the stupid things I did as young me. Learned my lesson, definitely never did that again. So anyways, back here, more paint chips, you know how it goes. Up here, nicks in the side of the door from hitting rocks and going mud bogging. Back here, the bed's cracked a few times from just, I don't know what the hell, but it's been TIG welded a few times and it's already cracked again. So that's not great. The bed's been in way better shape. As you can see, this rot here, tried to fix that one time, just came right back, didn't work. Replaced this back handle thing probably 4 dozen times because those things fall off. Great design, Chevy. Moving our way over to the other bedside, you can see about a half a clip of AR-15 through the bed rail. Long story, don't even want to talk about that. Then one night, I'm out with my friends, acting cool, wasn't paying attention. This is back when the truck had a roll pan, not a full bumper. Backed this thing right up onto a frickin' telephone pole. So yeah, came over here one night, or the same night, came over here to the shop, started beating that thing out. Never looked right since, so I put the factory bumper back on it. But yeah, I got that big old dent there, shoved it up into here and under the taillight. So the bed's pretty much hosed, not really worth anything to anybody. More rust that I tried to fix probably 2 years ago and just never finished, and it rotted right through it again. So yeah, that's pretty much the truck. As you can see, it's got a lot of blemishes. And the only reason I'm really telling you guys this is because I get a lot of questions about, you know, what got me into the diesel game or how I got started working on these Duramaxes. And this truck right here is the whole reason. You know, I bought this thing, didn't have a pot to piss in really. I was a high school kid on a real poor budget, and the truck had problems and I had to fix it. You know, I didn't have any money to do that, and my parents sure the hell weren't gonna pay for it. They helped me buy the truck in the first place, and they said after that, you're on your own. So it was kind of one of those things, learn how to do it or just let it sit there. And you know, I just started working on it myself. Obviously, some things didn't always pan out, like trying to remove the molding off the side of the door, but if you don't try it at least once, you're never gonna learn. So if you have an old beater truck, you know, and you wanna get into working on these things, that's definitely where I'd recommend. It's where I learned how to tune, how to build transmissions, how to rebuild motors. It was pretty much all on this truck. And like I said, the thing doesn't owe me a damn dime, and that's why we're gonna be turning it into something really cool to let the truck live on. So anyways, enough of me rambling on about this stupid truck. We're gonna start on the interior, removing our aftermarket gauges and stereo equipment. And then we're gonna work on pulling the cab off, pulling the bed off, and kind of stripping everything down as I see fit. I'm not really sure what's gonna stay, what's gonna get removed right away. But as we go through this video, I'll kind of determine what I need to leave and what I need to remove right away. And then we're just gonna get it down to a rolling chassis. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Probably won't film too much of actually taking stuff apart until we get to removing the cab. But down here we do have our gauge set up, so we're gonna be removing this. We also need to remove our fleece alley locker. If you guys want a video on that, leave a comment down below and I'll kind of explain that thing more. We also need to remove the stereo equipment because I have an aftermarket head unit, subs, and speakers in the truck. And then we're just gonna start with pulling some other things out of this. But like I said, not gonna film too much of that. So we're gonna get those ripped out real quick and then move on to the next thing. Well guys, we're cruising right along. I know I didn't film a whole lot of this, but I did end up getting the gauges pulled out and the stereo pulled out. I've also went ahead and tore apart a bunch of the under dash here. just to remove some of the wiring and also the brake controller and some other little things. But that is where I'm going to stop on the interior for today. There's definitely more stuff I'm going to have to take out of the interior of the truck for the new project truck, but I don't need it anytime soon. So that is where I'm going to stop on the interior, and then we're going to work on getting the cab off of this thing. Making a bunch of progress under the hood also. A lot of this I just had to unhook because it ran to the gauges or stuff inside the cab and whatnot. And to pull the cab, it all had to be removed. So I didn't really film any of this, just a whole bunch of wiring. Like this guy here is for the fast lift pump, the CP3 wiring, the blow-off valve wiring, stuff like that. So all that needs to be unhooked still so that it can stay with the engine. But we are getting pretty close to being able to pull the cab off this thing. Now, just a quick side note, when I pull the cabs on these trucks, I usually take it all up in one unit. And what I mean by that is I will pull the cab off and it'll be still attached to the fenders and the core support. I will remove the grille and bumper, but then the intercooler, radiator, all that stuff will actually raise up with the truck. But today I'm going to try it a little bit different route. I've actually not done this style or done it this way before, but I'm going to try and pull off just the fenders. And then hopefully that'll allow me to leave the intercooler core, the radiator, all that stuff up front here, still attached to the frame. And I want to do that because I just kind of want to mock up the new body with the fitment of this and see if I can utilize any of the factory core support stuff. It probably won't work how I want it to, but I'm going to see. So when I get back from grabbing some food, we will start with removing these fenders and the hood, and then we're going to start getting the cab pulled off of this thing. Delicious. Well, that was good, but back to the action. Dramatic than I thought it was going to be, and I'm actually kind of impressed with this thing. I wouldn't say impressed, but I guess I'm kind of glad I went about it the way that I did with removing the fenders and the core support, because usually when I pull the cabs on these trucks, the fenders and everything, the fenders, the core support, all the radiators and everything go up with the truck. And doing it this way is definitely something new for me. This is definitely not how I usually do them if it was in for like head gaskets or something. So yeah, kind of cool in that aspect. But moving right along, it is getting pretty late, but I do want to work on this thing a little while longer. So I'm going to push the chassis outside and then pick the cab up with the forklift and set it somewhere out on the lot. And there is definitely some more stuff I need to take off this, but I can do that tomorrow, like the mirrors and stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and get the cab outside first, and then we will start working a little bit more on the chassis, mainly getting the So up next, we need to remove the bed. Nothing too special here. We're just gonna pull the bumper off, tailgate off, remove the taillights, and undo all the wiring for the bed. And then it's 6 bolts, and the bed will come right off. The only difficulty I'm gonna have is removing the fast lift pump on this truck, as I'm gonna be saving that and putting it on another truck. So we need to make sure not to damage that guy. But let's go ahead, jump into it, get this thing off so I can go get some sleep. Finally got the cab and the bed pulled off the chassis here, and I'm super pumped. You know, I've just been procrastinating on doing this for the past couple weeks because the personal life's been a little bit rough. But today I decided to just pull the trigger on it, said screw it. Good way to get some anger out and just get started on this thing, because I know if I don't do it now, it's just gonna sit even longer. So with that being said, in the next video, we got some really cool stuff coming. I'm gonna show you guys what we're actually gonna be doing with this thing. This is the chassis that is getting the 1200 horsepower Duramax engine build, which you guys saw in the last video. But in the next one, we'll be showing you what body and what configuration, I guess, is going on this thing and kind of what the plans for this build are. So I'm super pumped about that one. And if you guys are too, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss that. I know this video probably wasn't as entertaining as the Duramax build video, but we will be back next week sometime with the Duramax series of getting the 1200 horsepower one put together, going through the bottom end on that thing. So if you guys want to see all this, make sure you are subscribed. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below and also leave a comment. You guys freaking crushed it on the last video. So a huge thank you, like I said in the beginning, to all the new subscribers, all the views on that one, and all the comments. You know, reading those things were freaking hilarious on the last one, and just the support you guys gave. So I appreciate that, and let's try to do the same on this one if you can. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.